Hello and welcome to yet another video, and in this video it is something different and special because I'll be reviewing this camera bag. It's the Memento or Memento depending on how you pronounce it. Classic Satchel bag. It is genuine leather camera bag and it is now officially my daily camera bag that I take everywhere with me, from all the battle scars that you probably can see right now around the bag pretty much. So yeah, in this video I'll be talking about the pros, the cons based on how I used it, and pretty much my opinion obviously, and if I recommend it or if I don't recommend it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So, Memento or Memento, depending on how you call it, this is actually my first leather camera bag. I usually use so many other kinds of camera bags, but leather, and I always kind of find it a bit unnecessary to go for leather camera bags apart from the stylish point of view. But if you watch the unboxing video, my original intent on buying this camera bag was actually because, well, I'm from Thailand and this is actually the local brand there as well, so why not support the local economy and yeah, the local brand pretty much. And yeah, I just got this bag, and also it's my first time ever to buy something, partly because a celebrity that I like very much also uses the bag, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, if this bag wasn't so good, I wouldn't really be using it as a daily camera bag. So yeah, I keep on wanting to say daily driver, but it's not really a driver. So anyway, into the bag itself. So this bag is actually really minimalistically designed, and it's also really well designed. So all the leather stitches and everything is really high quality and everything, but all the battle scars and everything, it's just obviously being the nature of the camera bag and also being a bag that I use, because I never really baby any of my camera bags, if that makes sense. I put my cameras in there. I don't care if it's too big for the bag. I just want it to fit inside, and I don't mind throwing the bag around if I have to hop from like motorbike taxi to boat, like to taxi boat to other taxis, or just have to run across the town. I don't care if the bag gets scratches or anything. I just want it to hold what it should be holding, and that's it. That's part of the reason of having a camera bag at all. So all of my camera bags actually don't last with me for such a long time, unless if it's my time-lapse camera bag, then it lasts with me for a while and it's still pretty much in almost brand new shape, because I don't take that much time-lapse. It's not my main focus, but for travel photography, street photography, event photography, those kind of photography, other camera bags will need to endure the rough environment that I put it through pretty much. So yeah, but obviously these scratches and everything, you can buy like those coatings for leather that you just protect the leather itself and it will look like new again, and that's just one of the perks of having leather bags or leather products, I think. But on the other hand, if you use it so much, like so often, after 2 years, and you have a lot of scratches, it also will look very nice and vintage if that's kind of look you're after. Anyway, into the bag. So there's this latch right here. Some of you might like it and some of you might not. I have a love and hate relationship with this particular latch that you press down. I wish it was more of those really sturdy, hard, magnetic kind of clip-on that actually holds a lot of weight, but also is really quiet to unclip. So yeah, you're presented with these two pockets first in the front, pockets or pouch depending on how you call it. And in here you can keep your passport, your phone, your power bank, your cables, whatever, what have you really. I just keep like a pen. This is the erasable pen, so you can actually erase the ink of it. It's a Japanese brand. I highly recommend getting a pen similar to that, because if you're traveling and you have to fill in some sort of important documents, but there's only one paper that you can fill on, and if you make some minor mistakes, you can really erase what you've written with a pen and then just rewrite it, and it saves you a lot of time, can save your ass sometimes. Hand gel, of course. AirPod. Extra battery. Depending on if I'm taking my Fuji system with me or Canon system with me, I may have a different brand batteries in there, or just carry both brands. And yeah, and then into the main compartment itself, which is something I also have a love and hate relationship with. So this whole thing you can take out, which is really nice. And you can adjust these dividers, of course. But I wish that, I mean, this is a really good quality divider, but it is a bit too stiff in my opinion. I like how some brands makes it extra soft, so it's extra flexible, and you can actually have a different sort of gear in there. Of course, that's going to be very rare, but I think if you're a type of person who also like to carry as much gear into the camera bag as me sometimes, and also sometimes it's actually weird gear that you actually might make yourself as a DIY, you might know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's pretty much my complaint about this divider, this compartment right here. And of course you can just use this to fit other things. I have this A5 notebook in here just to write some notes and also put in documents, I guess. Oh, that's my PCR test because I was traveling. And also here there's another compartment in here with a zipper. You can keep other stuff in there like postcards, business cards, and things like that. This compartment right here, not the zipper compartment, but the compartment where I just keep this A5 notebook, it actually also fits A4 perfectly with A4 size stuff. So if you're planning to put like an A4 document in there or anything that's within the A4 size, you can kind of slip it in through here. And this is the same. You can also sort of put in some documents in there. Sometimes I just put in little brochures that people hand to you in there and you don't want to be rude and throw it away or ignore them. So yeah, but within this there's also two compartments in here. One seems like for your phone or something. I think it's the size of like an iPhone 10R or iPhone 11, something like that. But I keep this bag of discount cards, bonus cards, credit cards, bank cards, the simple ones that I need access to. And this is just like a cleaning cloth for my camera lenses and everything. I usually have a lens pen here, but since I arrived at home from traveling, I seem to have lost it, so yeah. And that's actually one downside about this compartment. I wish it had some sort of clip or some sort of like cover over it, because I actually lost my other AirPod. This is the AirPod Pro. I think it's called the AirPod or I don't know, I don't even know the name for it. But I lost the basic one that I was traveling with me and I was running. And obviously you probably ask, how can it fall out? Like if you're opening your bags a lot sometimes, this is what I also hate about this, that you have to make sure that's perfectly clicked. And if you have big gears like me, it doesn't always perfectly click. And sometimes when you're running, the flap can also open a little bit, and then something in here small and slippery like an AirPod case could actually slip out. So yeah, there's that. And then in here, it's not much. I either keep my Canon mirrorless system in there or my Fuji. Hold on. I totally forgot I'm filming with a Fuji. Sorry, but I have another one. But either, yeah, my Canon or my Fuji system in here. And when it comes to like Fuji, everything fits really nicely because it is an APS-C size camera, sensor camera, so everything just fits in there and you still have a bit of space in there. I usually just have the X-T3, the 16 1.4, which is my favorite combo. Well, it would actually be the X-T2 with the 16, that would be my favorite, but X-T3 would also get the job done. And also the 35 in there, as well as a 55-200 XF lens. Yeah, this one. So this would still fit perfectly inside, and also will still leave some room for even like a 50mm f1.4 Canon full frame lens. Here, of course, it is coming up a little bit, but that is totally okay. But for traveling, I generally like to use two systems simply because they don't have, like, they both have something that the other doesn't have. And having the benefit of full frame and APS-C size sensor really opens up a lot of room for different kinds of perspective. In this compartment, I always keep my postcards that I give out for free to people if they start conversation with me or whatever. I gave a lot to taxi drivers because in Thailand, or in Southeast Asia in general, you tend to have a lot of interesting conversations with taxi drivers or different types of taxi drivers. So motorbike taxi drivers, tuk-tuk taxi drivers, and sometimes taxi boat if you're one of those who get private taxi boats. So yeah, I also keep extra neck strap. I actually don't know where it is right now. I also have this magic arm that I would have in here because in Bangkok or in Thailand in general, there are a lot of no tripod rules in public spaces. So with the magic arm that I did an unboxing video of and also a review video of when I was in Thailand, I usually keep it in this compartment and it just fits nicely in here. So yeah, believe it or not, I also managed to fit the 70-200 f2.8 in here as well, like that. The downside of it is my camera will have to be outside of the bag the whole time, which to some people it could just defeat the whole purpose of having a camera back in the first place. But to be honest, I don't really mind. If I'm going out to take pictures anyway, then my cameras will be outside the camera bag anyway, so I am willing to make that sacrifice and keep other compartments for like extra lenses such as the 85 1.2, which I also often carry with me in here. And then just other lenses, maybe an extra Fuji lens or an extra Canon lens, depending on if I'm going full Canon or full Fuji or 50-50 during the day. So yeah, that's it. Okay, that's how I generally use the bag, but yeah. I tried fitting my DSLR in here. Here's one of my 5D bodies. This is the 5D Mark III, and it will not fit. So if you're buying it to fit something like the 5D Mark III, 5D Mark II, even the original 6D will not really fit perfectly in here. DSLRs, you might be looking at something like 550D range, 600D, 700D, 800D, what have you. Those smaller DSLRs will definitely fit in here, but the 7D line, the 6D line, the 5D line will not be able, and don't even talk about the 1DX line, so it will not fit in here unless if you unmount the lens and fit it, you know, vertically, like so. So yeah, that's how you fit it inside, but I don't like to unmount the lens and mount the lens back afterwards. That's a little bit troublesome when you're shooting outside, I feel. And yeah, but anyway, now into the pros and cons. So the cons first. Well, being a leather camera bag, apart from being able to scratch easily and apart from the fact that things are able to jump out of these pouches if you're really in a hurry of doing things, then there's also another thing is if you have a lot of gear like me and they're heavy because you're also using a lot of DSLR full frame gears as well, then all the weight just really transfer to your shoulder as you're carrying it. And I carried a lot more gear before, like as a daily gear carrying, I don't know how you call it, in other camera bags, and I never really feel as much weight as this particular camera bag. I guess it's because it's leather and it's also my first leather camera bag. I'm just not used to how it really completely pulls the weight with the bag, so all the weight is just really on your shoulder. And I would say that if you're just carrying like mirrorless cameras, like just from Fuji, let's say, or really slim light Canon RP and Canon slim light RF lenses, or the Sony you know, smaller mirrorless cameras, or even the M cameras from Canon, then I think it's okay. You know, if you're carrying like small and light mirrorless cameras. And I think it's what this, I really think this is what this camera was really made for, to carry those lighter camera gear. Whether it's, you know, the Leica M10 with the 50mm, which is also quite light actually, or the lighter consumer cameras. So yeah, it's really meant for carrying lighter cameras. And in the product pictures, you'll see sample pictures of like Leica cameras and Fuji cameras, things like that. So it's really meant for those kind of travelers who is just like traveling with normal light cameras and light gear and just really normal traveling around or things like that. So yeah, it's not really meant for something super heavy duty like how I bring it. Is it able to carry heavy duty gear? It is able. Is it the most practical bag to do it? Not really. So on the pro side, it is a really rugged bag because it is really nicely made. It's one of the reasons why I bought it, because the build quality, the reviews of the build quality is also really, really good. It is a decent sized bag. If you carry it everywhere with you, this is what I noticed with this bag, is just, it's a nice bag to fit onto the chair, onto the table without making it too, like, of a mess. If you go to restaurants, cafes, things like that, if you go inside a taxi, it's not going to eat up a lot of space either. It's just like, it's not an intrusive bag. And it's also the first bag that I got a lot of people complimenting me with this bag. So I've never gotten any compliments with all of my other bags because I chose them for practical reasons. This is not really, it's 50% practical and 50% just aesthetics. And with the other bags, it's just 100% practicality. So yeah, there's that. Oh, don't hold the bag upside down, by the way. Just don't. Another pro side of this bag, as I mentioned earlier, the compartments are able to come out and you can actually use this bag for so many other purposes, like repurpose them to maybe be your school bag if you want to, or your grocery bag if you want to, if that's your thing. But you get my point. You can really customize this bag to do a few more than just being a camera bag. Another pro side is that it has compartments inside the bags where you can just zip it up. So it's good for storing like your passport, ID cards, other important documents, what have you. So if you really need it to be secure, you can always put it in those compartments, and it's also still easily accessible for your hands. So just open and then just put your hand inside. Your hand will know where it is, unzip and grab your document out, and then yeah, it's still a really secure bag to have. So yeah, there's that. So now onto the final conclusion, and also if I recommend this bag. Well, this bag, well, of course it really depends on if you like it or not, and if it's really gonna suit you or not. So it's not a clear yes or no, but on the other hand, if you're using a lot of heavy duty gear in here, I wouldn't really recommend it. Not because it's not a rugged bag, it is a rugged bag, but all the weight that you will feel from carrying this, especially if you're carrying it for the whole day. Let's say you're a travel photographer and you have a lot of heavy duty gear in here like I had in my trip in Southeast Asia, then it's gonna really give you a lot of burden. And it's gonna hurt your shoulder like after the whole day, and if you're carrying that for like 2 weeks straight, it's kind of, well, granted, you're going to bed in the evening and everything, but you're carrying it like every single daytime, like 2 weeks straight, then it's going to be a real problem, and you will start having like pain on your shoulder because of all the weight, versus some other bags where there are some supports, that like decent supports on the strap or on the actual pad itself, where the weight is more absorbed to the strap rather than your shoulders. So, you know, at least you don't feel as much of a weight with a heavy duty gear, then, you know, but it's also really at your own risk, and if you're really used to it or if you're really risking it. But on the other hand, for a leather bag, this is a really affordable bag. It is a Thai brand, but it doesn't mean that it's cheap quality. It's just really affordable, being, you know, a Thai brand that has a lower currency and everything. So yeah, there's that. But at the end of the day, if you're just like a casual shooter or just doing some normal traveling, not doing anything intensively like what I did, then I would still highly recommend this bag. Of course, you also have to like the actual messenger style bag, because at the end of the day, there are people who prefer the backpack type of camera bags or the different sling type of camera bag. I personally love the messenger style camera bag because it is more, like, it is quicker to access the camera gear in my opinion. And talking about quick access, this camera bag actually allow me to access my camera stuff really quickly while on the streets. And in some places where you should watch out for like pickpockets, that can be very important to access your stuff in the bag really quickly, as you can, rather than, you know, spending 10-20 seconds just to unlock your bag. That's already like, you're showing a lot of weak points for the potential pickpockets to potentially rob you of something. So yeah, that's another point to have. But otherwise, that's pretty much the review of this camera bag. I, at the end of the day, highly recommend it to most people, but to some people who really use their stuff intensively, not so much. So yeah, I hope this video will help somewhat. And yeah, that has been the video. If you need a free photography guidebook, it's linked down in the description below. It's absolutely for free. It's also, like, I also have my free photography digital calendar, free download on my website. So it's just click and download. No need to subscribe to anything. Just click and download. So yeah. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Have fun shooting. Bye for now.